You know, I've seen some people suggesting that right now the total number of people who are being let go from the federal government is numbering in the ballpark of 250,000, because apparently some number of people allegedly from the Trump administration, like some number around 50, 60,000, have taken the buyout, and a large number of federal workers were probationary. So they were only there for a few years and they're easier to fire. Yeah. 65,000 if I recall correctly of the buyout. And then in addition to that, there's the probationary workers. Getting pretty wacky. The HR manager noted that he voted for Trump in the last 3 elections and will never make that mistake again. That's great, man. You know, I really appreciate it when people have their come to Christ moment right when it's needed. That's great. This one rules. Donald J. Trump, hello, sir. I am one of the probationary employees terminated by the Doge at 9 p.m. last night, February 14th. I voted for you, sir, 3 times, and I still support you, of course. I was encouraged by the Doge to see they were getting rid of wasteful government spending. I support that too. My termination letter said I was being let go for performance reasons. I know that's not true. I am an excellent employee. I've been with the federal government. It's sad, isn't it? It's really, really, really sad. Like, so many of these people live desperate, stupid lives, like animals grazing on a field, you know? With not enough grass to go around. And they're so amped up on the idea, like, don't worry, the targeted cruelty will be directed at everyone but me. I might be poor. I might be relying on federal assistance. I might have Medicaid. I might be relying on Social Security. But when they talk about all these things, you know, they're talking about the other ones, the other undeserving ones. Like, Elon was literally tweeting, like referring to everyone on Medicaid benefits as the parasite class 2 days ago. It was like a meme, and it was like me when I see Doge cutting waste, but I'm not mad because I'm not a member of the parasite class. And it's like 1/3 of the country relies on entitlements in some form or another. Yeah, everyone thinks they're a special snowflake. It's destructive individualism. They don't understand. Like, you are the traffic, mother. You're the traffic. You're the bloat they're talking about. They were always talking about you. I've been with the federal government for almost 16 years. 16 years in June. I had started my career with USDA, transferred to DHS, and recently came back to USDA because it's such a great agency to work for. Surely that must count for something in your eyes. I'm loyal, and I firmly believe that the work I do as a USDA APHIS PPQ employee, sure, I believe you, is vital and important. My boss, his boss, the managers in neighboring states all agree I'm doing an excellent job and that I'm a great asset to the team. I'm the only blank here in the state of Kentucky, and my work here is valued and honorable. Each time I voted for you, it was because I knew you'd make things right and you'd fix the wrongs. I'm counting on you now to make this right too. I'm pleading with you to reinstate my employment and give me my job back. Please, Mr. President, thank you. President Donald J. Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Donald Trump Jr., U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. Sir, me lord, me lord. Again, it's what I mean about Americans not having the sauce. This like rampant individualism. Nobody understands what it means to give your life to the state. You want fascism, mother? Well, welcome to fascism, okay? Your life is nothing. Like, you are an interchangeable cog in a series of machines that have your interests in mind, and they do the opposite of them. Your interests are in their mind. They're just acting directly against it. You know, you're the enemy, basically. The Americans of today could have never broken from the British Empire. That is true, though it is worth remembering, of course, that the American Revolution was spurred mostly by, like, you know, greedy, individualism-minded American landed gentry. But, you know, all the same, yes. They weren't not willing to make sacrifices. We're not the country that landed on the moon anymore. I think that's true. I genuinely do. I think that the difference between modern day America and America of 1969 is greater than the difference between America today and Russia today, or America today and Turkey today, or America today and China today. I think that, like, the modernity has bled from America every drop of exceptionalism that might have been warranted by our existence as a superpower. You know, like, not moral exceptionalism, mind, but like in performance. The sauce is gone, dude. It's a dead country. The 80s was the sauce reduction. Yes, yes. Obviously, Reagan spurred a great many of the, yeah, you know, at least everyone's having their little moment, you know. In private conversations, some Wall Street executives go much further. One senior investment banker says the disorder and unpredictability of Trump's actions and those of Elon Musk, the billionaire Tesla chief who has become one of his most senior lieutenants, was greater than anticipated. With hindsight, We do not appreciate the nature of what the administration was going to be like, the banker says. I do believe they are hurting their stated objectives of peace and prosperity. That's great, man. And we'll see how long things keep up, you know? Public opinion is going to turn against Donald Trump. It's already begun to. If you go by the polling, which I don't, youth opinion of him has decreased substantially. I don't know if I believe that at all. I do know, though, that there's like an inevitable... There is an unavoidable slope to this. Whether or not that amounts to anything, I can't say. But we still have 4 years, man. Whoa, hold on. At least 4 years. Let's not... Nah, he literally can't lose support. These people are in a cult. There's some truth to that, but keep in mind that the more cult-like people are the ones that you see online. There are a lot of people who are just stupidly swept up in it. It's not literally 1/3 of the population of the country is in a diehard cult. It's probably more like 10% of them are, and the remaining 2/3 of the Trump constituency are just like varying levels of stupid and ignorant and hateful, but not necessarily to that level of the cult. You know, I don't know. I'm just ballparking it. I'm gay. I'm not good at math. I'm just doing boy math, exactly. What makes Curtis Yarvin and his moron followers like Peter Thiel think they can become kings, let alone survive a superpower like China? Well, they're dumb. Look, the arrogance of like very powerful people, this is like a studied historical phenomenon, okay? Like you're very powerful, no one tells you no, you get lucky a bunch, you end up on top. Everyone thinks once they reach that position they deserve everything they have, you know? The crazy thing is that it wasn't that long ago that ultra-wealthy people actually did usually have to be some kind of smart, or at least impressive, to get that wealthy. Nowadays, it's just stock market speculation. It's literally luck. Like, past a point, it is just a dice roll, right? There are plenty of people smarter than Elon Musk who might have made their own investment decisions, but PayPal popped off, Tesla popped off, you know? Everything after that was just kind of like a ball rolling down a hill, you know? We're not talking about captains of industry here. We're talking about parasites that sit on top of the system. They're not even making the decisions in the running of the company. Just rolling dice. It's definitely a bubble. Those eggs don't seem to be getting cheaper. I don't think they're going to get cheaper for a while. Thank God I don't eat eggs. If only we could invest in eggs. What was I saying? There are going to be a lot of fell for it again types. And like, I know... like people like this, I don't know, man. Life is just going to get harder and harder and harder, you know? Like, the Trump administration has specifically stated they want to start a recession. Recessions are fine for the wealthy. Keep that in mind. They're fine, okay? Because inevitably things bounce back. But during a recession, it's harder to get work. Do you have any idea how difficult it's going to be to find a job for the... many federal workers who are getting laid off? How transferable are those skills? You've spent 25 years working at the USDA. Where are you going next? Like, you have a good skill set. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that your work is useless. I'm saying how many jobs are there out there that need you? And as people suffer more, they might regret their voting decisions. But suffer they must. I'm an accelerationist now. The suffering is good. Better they suffer in a way that hurts his poll numbers than, I don't know, suffering happen in a way which doesn't hurt his poll numbers. Yippee! Vosh, I don't deserve to suffer, though. Well, you're an American. As am I. It really depends on the skill set. They're going to outsource and privatize everything anyway. Yeah, but they're not going to. Because the private sector is never going to want to replace these jobs. The private sector is never going to build out like a 10,000 person regulatory agency in like a private capacity. Like, what would the benefit to them be, you know? What makes an accelerationist now better than being one before? Because I didn't want Trump win, but now that Trump has won, like, it's better that you rip the Band-Aid off cleanly rather than the suffering be perpetuated indefinitely by an administration that's competent enough to hold itself together while maximizing the blood it can strain from the American people. You can tell the difference, right? Like, I don't know. An administration that can hold itself together while being wretched would be pretty bad. It would be like the world's superpower being that evil to everyone and holding itself together. It would plunge the entire planet into the shit more so than it already has, which it already has to a large extent. The Munich Security Conference speech has essentially ended the alliance, by the way, at least as it was before. Oh yeah, no, we're basic, like Europe is essentially on its own. We've essentially told our allies, like, we are, dude, we're literally holding a conference for peace in Ukraine in Saudi Arabia with Russia. Ukraine isn't even invited. Like, we are so, it's so obvious. Honestly, I mean, dispense with the artifice, right? Like, it be straightforward with it at least, you know? Chinese century now, Chinese millennia. Europe should have done a deal with China. I mean, the relations between China and Europe are probably going to strengthen at least a little bit as a consequence of our abandonment of them. What is this, by the way? What is the Javier Milei meme coin? Javier Milei backtracks on 4.4 billion meme coin after insiders pocket 87 million. This is exactly what Trump and Melania did. Or Melania. I always mix them up because of the bitch from Elden Ring. He promoted a rug pull that stole 87 million the first 3 hours, but who cares? He was already an open grifter. Is this like actually, like, who is mad at this that wasn't already mad at him? Half of Argentina is in poverty. I can't wait to never hear about crypto in 10 years. Good luck with that. Argentina's president Javier Milei backtracked on a tweet promoting a meme coin called Libra, which rose to a 4.4 billion market cap before plunging by more than 95%. In a now deleted tweet, Milei initially wrote, "This is a private project dedicated to encouraging the growth of the Argentine economy." This is the difference between Milei and a superpower like the United States. Trump can launch a meme coin that immediately rug pulls, but not even delete the tweets after. You know? Like, it doesn't even matter for him. He can just do it, and then there's no consequence to it. Rose by more than 2,000% in a 40-minute span following the tweet. Crypto influencer Ape lost his fortune after investing in Milei's suggested meme coin and had a meltdown where he threatened to kill Milei. I can never really tell if shit like this is real, because people, when they perform for the camera like this, it's like, are you just trying to make back the money you lost by trying to, like, drive engagement, you know?
I'm broke! I'm broke! I'm broke! I'm gonna find you! I'm gonna find you, devs! I'm gonna find you! You rugged me!
Can somebody explain to me, by the way, what is it with Zoomers and cross necklaces? When did this come back? I know that Catholics historically have worn cross necklaces, but a lot of you motherfuckers are Catholic. You're just wearing them. Is it just like conservative cultural zeitgeist, like meaning to your porn addiction? I don't know. Conservative LARPing? Yeah.
I have nothing! I have to sell my Rolex! I have to sell it! I have to sell all my shit! I don't have anything! Against you pieces of shit! You rugged me! You all rugged me, bro! And I'm gonna find you!
Yeah, this is probably fake. What matters, though, is that they're all having fun. Milei later addressed the botched meme coin on X, stating he was not aware of the details of the project. Dude, literally, who cares? Like, he's already f***ed the country. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too cynical about this. It's like, what, like, who, wouldn't everyone already be mad at him? He did a damn hawk tua. Remembering I can't actually speak Spanish. He probably wants good favor with the crypto bros. Yeah, but rug pulling is all crypto is for. I'm sorry, like, past a point, man. Past a point, you're just in FAFO territory. There are so many people who lose their money for reasons that are more legitimate than that. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know, man. Come on. You're having your own MAGA moment. Kinda, it's like scamming old people. Maybe they should have tried not being old. I don't know.
But then I was really surprised to see that after their entire complaint, they took it a step further and noted that Turn 14 and companies like it could sue the EPA for damages.
Why am I looking at this?
Because based on how this wording was changed, it would make a lot of their work illegal, which would hurt their business, cause them a loss of business, and indirectly allow them to sue the EPA for damages. And then it went even further, and the CEO of Turn 14 himself had a message after the complaint and how they felt like after this new wording, they would be negatively impacted and they would sue the EPA.
How many people in Argentina do you think read the writing on the wall and made a lot of money in Argentina by investing in USD right before Argentina halved the relative value of their currency against the USD, and then bought back into the Argentinian peso? Because then they would have like doubled their money immediately, right? Like they would have like insured themselves against the inflationary loss against the USD. Do kids even have homework anymore? Don't kids have like way more homework now than they used to? Because I had like a decent amount of homework when I was a kid, and my parents told me like they didn't have much homework at all. And now I hear that kids nowadays, they have like a load of homework, but they don't do it. Yeah. Which is based because homework is stupid. It's bad.
For damages. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like that's probably pretty aggressive. If you're going to tell the
Yeah, I have no idea what is this?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
Oh, Ariana Jasmine.
And I regret it now.
As
I know
a
her.
Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
Who voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it. A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump.
I need a big mug that I can drink so I can be like cunty when people are suffering. I'm saying this in a positive way. This is not me disparaging. I almost just said Ariana Grande, which would that have been problematic? It's just I only know so many people named Ariana, and my brain is kind of full of holes after years of sobriety abuse. You ever be so straight edge that it ruins your brain sometimes? When the straight edge guy hits you with a take so level headed, you got to hit him with that smokes a bowl of weed before going to the grocery store stare. I don't know what I'm saying right now.
Have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass.
I also regret voting for Trump. I don't know why I did that. That was kind of like a YOLO moment. Can you still say that without them putting you in a retirement home? Is YOLO like completely consigned to the annals of history? Yes? It's okay, you're a millennial. Yeah, but I'm like a late millennial, you know? I'm not a Harry Potter obsessed millennial. That's pretty good, right? That's fine. How many of these do you think are performative? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because everyone lies. Like literally the entirety of social media, which used to be a way for people to connect, not in person, is just a, you know, a hive of disinformation where everyone is faking everything in a desperate effort to get more attention to them, you know, drawn to themselves. So it's kind of unfortunate. That's why so many people grift over to the right and nobody grifts over to the left. You know, people always shift right, they don't shift left. And that's because right now, like the attention is on being that's the place where you can get the attention. You know, the left doesn't give you as many opportunities because if you shift over to the left, people are like, wow, you want a cookie for being a nice person? By the way, wear a mask when you go outside, even though it's 2025 and nobody does that anywhere anymore. And also, yeah, the left has no money. What if I'm sick? We live in a hyper-individualist society, okay? Just get other people sick. It's fine. Why how is the polling weighted on 538? Right up to here. Okay, look, the most recent point is pretty recent, unfavorable plus 1.4 on February 13th, or maybe it goes to 14th, I don't know. But if you take a look at the recent polling, all of the unfavorable is pretty heavy unfavorable, right? 10 unfavorable, 2, 1, 5, 3, 6, 7, and the most recent one from Echelons is just plus 1 favorable. How are they aggregating this data? Like, what's weighing against this? You'd think it'd be unfavorable plus 3 or plus 4 or something. I don't know if I trust 538, man. I don't know. The data aggregation, like because every once in a while, some of the people who work for the data aggregate, the companies that do the aggregation, they're like, so here's our extremely top secret proprietary way of parsing these numbers. And it's some arcane math that for some reason, it always makes you mad, doesn't it? It's like, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have a doctorate in statistics, but looking at this, it's just making me a little angry. This is my anti-intellectual perspective on the matter, okay? Check approval. Well, approval and favorability are two different things. Right now, Trump is still marginally approved. You know, at least based on the 538 aggregate. What's the difference? Favorability is whether you like the guy. Approval is whether you think they're doing a good job. Basically, all presidents start with a high approval rating. Like, by default, this happens every time, you know? You always start with a high approval rating. 538 is like the worst. Well, there's worse, but yeah. So you're telling me this is as high as it's going to get? Well, 9/11 could happen. If 9/11-2 happens, that might push his approval ratings way up high. Pointing you once more to the Gallup poll job approval for W. See? What do you think happened right here? That being said, if 9/11 happened again now, who knows how Trump would react? Keep in mind, after 9/11 happened, Trump called into a radio station the next day to brag that his building was now the tallest in New York City or something like that. So maybe if 9/11 happened now, he'd say like, New York City, an ugly city full of crime. No one's surprised at what happened here. Which wasn't even true. No, it wasn't true, but he did it anyway. You got your impersonation of Trump good. I feel like I can do a better job impersonating Trump if I'm not reading text. If I'm reading text, then I just want to read it out loud, you know? From 90 to 25 is crazy. What's crazy is the fact that he got this spike right here, right before the election against John Kerry, you know? Like, he had this bump here, Iraq war, and he had this bump before the election. But, like, why? Fuck you. Well, because they amped up the patriotic shit, like John Kerry's going to get America overrun by terrorists. Bullshit, you know. Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm stupid. This isn't the right bump. This is right before 2004. I had the numbers wrong. It would have been right here. I don't know what this bump was. This bump is the invasion of Iraq, I assume. The spike was because Bush said he'd make marriage only a man and a woman? Ah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, just hovering right around here. And then, of course, it plummeted. And no one liked him by here. That might have been when Saddam was captured. That would make sense. That would make sense. Lol, is it literally that easy in the US? It used to be a lot easier. We used to have more of a monoculture. Not anymore. It's crazy the invasion of Iraq seems to be a bump instead of a decline. Was it really that popular? People, okay, if you today, right now, have an opinion on Skibbity Toilet, like and subscribe, by the way, you cannot understand how uniform the media was on Iraq. Like, it was worse than the media was on Gaza, okay? The anti-Iraq war protests were some of the largest in the world. They spanned all across the Western world, you know, Western Europe, America. There was massive pushback on them, and the media covered nothing. Nothing. To the media, it just didn't happen. You could not be in mainstream media, and there was no independent media at the time, not really. You could not be in mainstream media without glazing the out of the invasion of Iraq. They all fell in line. And it was the same military-industrial complex bullshit. This was where they were going to spend the money, and trillions were spent. Insane. Absolutely insane. Well, yeah, a lot of people got fired. A lot of people lost their jobs, their careers, lost public opinion. It was... So the country operated like dictatorship? Well, the media acted like it did, basically, yeah. The media knew how to toe the line. Yeah, that's where Freedom Fries came from, when France didn't support our invasion of Iraq. To be fair, we invaded the wrong country. Well, we should have invaded Saudi Arabia, I agree. That would have been based, actually. Would you say the media is still less right-wing now than post 9/11? It's hard to say. Different, like, standards of judgment. Different metrics. Different metrics. Crazy how the war went from being so popular to being universally loathed. It wasn't even that popular. It was widely unpopular at the time, and especially after it happened, like in the protests that followed afterwards. Even with all the media consensus, people were never that, like, gunned up on it. The consent was very manufactured, exactly. People were mostly in the support the troops kind of attitude, you know? It does help they completely fucked up the justification for invading Iraq, you know? Like, it was kind of about liberating the Iraqi people, but kind of not. It was kind of about Saddam Hussein having WMDs, but it kind of wasn't. It was kind of about 9/11. Like, the Bush administration didn't really, like, directly make the case that they did 9/11, but they kind of did, though, anyway. Like, that what, like, if you just straight up asked the Bush administration at a press conference, did Saddam Hussein do 9/11? They would either dance around or say no, but they would, like, you know, kind of imply that they were involved. They just leaned on it, you know? They manufactured whatever reason they could. And again, the reason for all of this is because military contractors wanted lots and lots of money. And they got lots and lots of money. That's the most money they'd gotten in a long time. In a long time. Oh, no wonder. They did lie about the WMDs. Colin Powell to the United Nations, most directly. But, you know, and the people ate it up too. Kinda. Look, keep in mind that right now, at this moment, something like 75 to 80% of Democrats do not sympathize more with Israel than they do with Palestinians. There was a recent poll, and it was like, do you sympathize most with Israel, Palestinians, or like both, more or less? and something like 9% of Democrats supported like Israel more, or like were more sympathetic to Israel, you know? All the manufactured consent in the world isn't changing the fact that like a lot of people, they weren't happy with Iraq, they weren't happy with Vietnam, and they're not happy with Gaza.